Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 20th. We are here for the Orange Township Trustees regular meeting. Please join. Oh, no. Ms. Crack, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fowles?
Here.
Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Ringgold?
Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have any public comment? Hearing none. Any announcements?
I have an announcement.
Great.
So we had the quarterly Delaware County Township Association meeting this past Saturday at the county fair, which is going on this week. I highly recommend you attend if you have the opportunity. It's a lot of fun for the family. But at the Township Association meeting, Auditor Kites provided an update on real property tax appraisals that will be and value increases that will be coming out at the end of this month. So expect letters in the mail, and once you've received your letter, there'll be more information about how you'd like to review your property value with the county auditor's office.
Auditor Kaitza recently reached out to me and asked if he would be able to present at the next board meeting on October 4th, so I can get that set up.
That would be great.
Interested.
Yep.
So they haven't gone out yet?
No, they'll be going out at the end of the month.
Are they, it's not online yet either?
Correct.
Also wanted to make everybody aware, so Michelle and I, along with Trustee Vaughn from Genoa and Trustee Donaldson from Liberty and their administrator, all went to Rumpke last week, the recycling facility, and got a tour. It was fascinating. So I thank Rumpke for giving us their time. And we've heard some positive feedback from the recycling bins that we have received. Hopefully those have everybody's gotten theirs. And as we learned, there's a lot of things that go into recycling, that go into the bins that are not to be recycled, or sometimes not just in the bins, but like get dumped in a large, dumpster size recycling bin. So please only recycle what we are able to recycle that is shared on our new bins. There's labels on the top of them. So follow the rules, because it makes everyone else's job that deals with our recycling a lot easier.
What's the common item? I know pizza boxes shouldn't be recycled.
They can if they can actually, yes.
Can they,
Even if they have food waste,
Really?
yeah, because of how much cardboard, like the cardboard to grease ratio.
They used to say
I know they did used to
That's
say.
awesome.
I did
Okay.
think that as well. The thing they recycle the most is cardboard. Think of our Amazon boxes and that kind of stuff. So you cannot recycle things like mattresses. We did see a mattress there. You cannot recycle things like propane tanks. Those will destroy, hurt their machinery. You also cannot recycle things like extension cords or hoses. That will really stop the machinery. Like they can be down for a whole day. Trying to repair that. Bed sheets, also not recyclable. So it was fascinating.
That's too obvious.
I know, right? It was interesting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then also a bunch of us here at the township are visiting either Oak Creek Elementary is coming here, or taking turns going to Heritage Elementary, just so the community's aware. It's third grade government week, and we've been invited to interact with the kiddos. I've gotten to meet with a couple schools and had a great time, and I'm assuming everybody else has as well. So thank you to all of us who are taking time out of our day to go and meet with the students and teach them a little bit about local government.
Founders Festival's in 10 days.
Yes. September 30th, 2 to 6 p.m., North Orange Park. There are free bounce houses. There's a caramel apple station that is $4 per apple. There are 35 at least different either vendors or government agencies. So there's a fun scavenger hunt that's going to help teach you about Orange Township history, and food trucks. And there's going to be a couple fire department vehicles there and some of our roads department vehicles there. So it should be a fun time for the community. So everybody come on out. Okay. Do the electric aggregation?
Let's go into
Executive session. Okay, so we're going to go into executive session. And make a motion to approve resolution 23-243, enter into executive session Revised Code 121.22G3 to conference with an attorney for the township concerning a dispute involving the township that is subject of pending court action.
Second?
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Those invited.
Those invited are legal counsel, Michelle, and fiscal officer,
And
and HR, Mike? Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Great, we're back on.
Okay. I make a motion to approve resolution.
So, can I just make a comment? I'm sorry. So the agenda says electric aggregation, but just for the record, we'll be discussing electric and gas today. And then I do have packets for the
time back here. Hello.
Hello.
Bear with me. These are new readers for Scott Del Castro, so there'll be a lot of fidgeting and trying to figure this out. So thanks for having me today. Here to talk about I'm going to start with the natural gas aggregation. I did give you guys the liberty of looking at some of the natural gas prices that we printed out. The only thing I really wanted you to take from that is prices are fairly low right now. You can see those troughs up and down, and those are some of the things that we're trying to, when we always talk about timing and pricing and all that, we're trying to hit the trough, not on the way up, but generally speaking, we're at a point in time where things are fairly stable. And so what happens with this winter, who knows? The good thing is we're protected already. The natural gas program that we wanted to get done today was simply your existing program ends with the May meter reads of 2024. And so we want to extend that out just through May of 25. And that'll get us through next winter. I think there's a lot of good there's a lot of good that could come from obviously protecting ourselves today at these low rates. So I don't, Trustee Knapp, we heard what you said at the last meeting that I attended, and we talked a little bit about just entering into some fixed rate agreements and protecting ourselves a little farther out. So that's why we're here today with that. Okay. Yeah. So
well, it would start May.
Yeah.
May.
I do want to note on here. Nope, we will lock it in today at today's rate. So let's just say hypothetically the Farmer's Almanac is correct, which they never are. Let's just say that they are, and it gets cold this winter. Rates could run up. But today we're locking in. We're good. We don't even have to worry about it. So through May of 25. Yep. The only thing I want to recommend, you may have seen my email. I just sent it out to.
And I just got a response from my legal. So.
Okay, just really all I wanted to get rid of in our industry. We discuss meter read dates, not hard dates like June 1st, June 30th. It's minor, but I just want to make sure we get. We'll correct that and update the resolution. At the end of the day, meter reads. For anybody who's listening to this. Like a December meter read could actually start November 26th. Okay, so you have to kind of just want to write in their meter read. So we'll get that adjusted.
Well, so our legal did respond to that, and if you do want that language, Chris Spence, who was our prosecutor for this, suggested that the language would say May 2025 meter reads, but no later than May 31st of 2025.
That's fine. I think that still achieves what we're doing.
Okay, and then if you're expecting a resolution to get passed today, I don't know what part of this resolution would need to be adjusted. Is at the bottom of page
It's
1?
in a number of places here. 1, 2, 3, fourth whereas on the gas.
Okay.
And
Well,
then,
we can just pass a resolution with that condition, and then I'll correct it.
Section A, it talks about the rate at 619 per CCF. The program, someone forgot to update that to the May anyhow, but we'll update that to May of 24 and ending in May of 25. But just anywhere that there's a reference to that. So it's only really 1, 2, 3 changes. Fourth whereas and the A section of the resolution. Okay. 619 for CCF. Correct.
I know I packeted it as like the gas packet, but it's in the second document where you see the second amendment. So the rate is at the bottom of page 1 on that master service agreement. It'll be there's 2 attachments to that, but gas is just a small part of it.
It's actually a couple thousand meters, so it's pretty big. Yeah. Remember a few years, it was 2019. We weren't sure, so we said let's just go forward with it. It's a couple thousand meters. Yeah. Columbia Gas. Yep, exactly.
Okay, so.
Yeah, well, it's about 47 cents today, but that's the you take the raw price of gas, which is I sent out is probably the October prompt month is 27 cents ish, 20, and then you add on to that 18 more cents. Okay, so it gets you to 47. I understand it is higher the rate that we're entering into, but this isn't for today. It is for a period of time into the future, right? May of 24. If you actually look at the forward curves on a on the market, the forward curves are actually the rates there are much higher than they are today here. So that's why the difference is significant right now. You can't look at today because today is only affecting October, November. We're looking at stuff way out. Really, let's be honest. We're looking at stuff next January, February, March, and that's why the rates are a lot higher, way out farther on the curve.
Snap, would you mind pushing your microphone a little? I'm getting told that you. Thanks.
You're looking at the apples to apples, is that correct? Yep, that's true. Correct. It is higher. It's higher than the variable rate right now. Even if we did something closer to now, it would be a lower rate than the 61, but it's not covering the right time period. So, but it is a protection for the unknown for next year. Yeah. As they always have. Yes. Yeah. If we don't know what's going to happen with prices. I can only tell you that as I've handed stuff out to you last September, the price of natural gas, the raw price of gas was 91 cents. And then you added, what was it, $1.78 or something to it, or $1.60 something. So what I'm trying to say is like, who knows, right? I mean, this is the whole idea behind a fixed price on gas for the winter, because if anything goes wrong, the citizens are protected. If they would like to gamble with their personal finances on the variable rate, they're more welcome to. They can take advantage of that. The fixed rate is an all-in price. Yep. There's no add-ons to it at all. It is what it is. Yep. Sure. Yep. Well, Ms. Knapp, you've been a proponent of shopping for as long as I can remember. So all I'm saying is like these rates typically are applicable to people who don't shop. And so, again, if they want to do the work, they can just, or if they want to leave, they're welcome to do that. Either way. Ever. Nope. All right. Electric aggregation. Thank you, Michelle, for attaching the matrix to this for everyone's reference. But we did have 3 different suppliers respond to our bid. We did look at an 18-month and a 24-month. I'm going to just state that because of the ask was to be coterminous on the things, so we're just going to go ahead and just really only review today the 18-month, if it's okay with you guys. We had Archer Energy, Energy Harbor, and Dynegy respond. And so, as you can see from these rates, we did a fixed rate. We asked for a green or renewable energy rate, as I told you guys would. Typically, a lot of communities right now are going full green, but I did want you guys to know if you want to choose to just do the lowest price, which despite a lot of people going for the green, a lot of our clients are still doing just the lowest price that they can, save as much money. And right now, with things the way the markets are and people, jobs, everything, probably cheapest is the way to go, if that's what you guys choose to do. But we can still offer a green renewable energy in the contract. So the default is fossil fuel dirty energy, as they call it, with an option for anybody to call in and upgrade into the clean energy. All right, customer by customer. Yeah, and so they're absolutely. Yep. So we've made that available for everybody. So that's why it's structured the way it is. There was just to give the audience some perspective. Archer came in at 6558. Energy Harbor 6545 and Dynegy at 6535. I mean, quite frankly, the difference in these rates is totally immaterial. I mean, it really. I think I made a quick adjustment on 1,000 kilowatt hours. It's 20 cents a month, so that's not really a big deal. Green energy, as you can see, fairly close on all 3. And then this is, as always, has been applicable to both residential and small businesses. And so, for those of you out there with businesses that are using under 700,000 kilowatt hours per year, you'll be eligible for this program. For any of your really large manufacturing companies that are in the community, and this is something that we can discuss as a group later, they can opt into the program, and it is at the discussion of the supplier, of all the suppliers, whether or not they want to accept them. The only reason for that is, generally, if you're an industrial client, you're already shopping. And secondly, if the load factor is really horrible, like bad, the supplier may not want that load. Okay, so it's really up to them. But it is something that the township can promote if we want to go out, let those types of customers, which they call mercantile accounts, we can let them know that this program does exist for them. We're just right now it's Dynegy, Energy Harbor. The middle one's kind of the equivalent of Prince, right? It's just a symbol. Yeah, so I was going to kind of delve into some things that are happening in our market right now. It's just kind of good information for you to have. First of all, Dynegy is acquiring Energy Harbor. So there is the potential for during the period of time that this program is running, where your residents would see a change in name for Energy Harbor to Dynegy. And yeah, on the bill. And it should stay that all the contract terms typically transfer to the acquirer. So it shouldn't be a big deal, but it does cause a lot of my experience is it can cause disruptions and questions. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. 477. So yeah, I mean, Ms. Knapp, I mean, rates have definitely come up a lot in the last year and a half. Yeah, so if you're an AEP Ohio customer, you're actually paying 11.2 this month. There are some. There are some. Well, I'll just throw these other issues out, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. They're not necessarily issues. I'll call them details. So Dynegy, Trey Bell's got a few things going on right now with Dynegy. We're having a few just some struggles in some other communities, and we're working through it. I was actually at a meeting last night trying to talk to the community about something that didn't go real well, and so I'm a little worried about until that's resolved. I'd feel a little better or differently about going a different direction if you wanted to, particularly since the rate is really not the lowest. I mean, or so indifferent. You know what I'm saying between the two. I wanted to make note too on Energy Harbor. They don't allow net metering customers, and so when you drive in to Orange, actually, I think you go. Can't remember which road it is out here, but there's a few houses you can see they've got rooftop solar. So if they were net metering, wouldn't be allowed through Energy Harbor, and I do believe that Archer and Dynegy will allow it in the AEP market. Okay, so that's kind of a plus. Archer is a smaller company, but yet they are local here in Powell, right here in Powell. So literally like 20 minutes away. Not a whole lot to say. I don't have anything negative to say about it. They are small. If I have problems, I can get to the owner, get on the phone and address these issues with him very, very quickly. So it's not usually a big deal. But, both companies are good. I just don't know, what types of other issues we may have with the Dynegy supply. I don't know. I mean, I like Dynegy. I've been working with them for a long time. I'll just tell you that, more recently, we're getting just a lot of goofy complaints, and I've addressed some of them with them on the back end on some of their eligible customer lists that were not quite right, and they were mailing, so to speak, outside of the boundaries of where they should. And we're still working through that. And Trey Bell's got now processes for them to help them with that, but it's not foolproof. We provided them with a list before, and they still found a way to send it to the wrong people. So. I believe today you're with Energy Harbor.
Archer's Gas. Just for the board, since I'm kind of scrambling, we are having some audio issues, but we'll have to upload our recording and overlap it if that is the case.
I can just remember everything and repeat it.
Yeah.
I do want to make one more note. Your gas program is with Archer Energy, and so from a just being from a easy to deal with process. If your audience already knows of Archer through the gas, it might be beneficial to have them as your electric provider as well. Relationship. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you guys do have a relationship with them already, and so does your customer, right? So they can, if they want to call in to get in the electric and gas program, they can just call one single number and get on both programs.
So it's like 33% higher than they're paying right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, just remember, it is 33% higher, but it could be, if you're using the utility, it's 67% higher if you were to default back to the utility right now.
We're basically saving 50% from using the utility.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost.
But the residents are gonna see that
They're
it
gonna see
went
the
up by
difference,
30,
yeah.
So
So-
is it better to negotiate
Well-
for gas in the summer and electric in the spring? Because it seems like or do they just project it?
I would just tell you that it'd be a dangerous assumption. There are some times that are kind of beneficial, but just go back to last year when in the summer we were all waiting for the rates blipped up and we're like, oh, we'll hold and see if they come back down. We just thought maybe it's an anomaly or whatever. Then it went up a little more in the middle of summer and then it went up again until we got to September when it was just outrageous. And we were like, okay, what do we do here? And again, I want to be clear about what happened last year. In the big picture of life, there are these, outliers, right? COVID caused an outlier dot on your screen. So, but this stuff is on maybe a smaller scale. Still does happen for sure.
When will there be like a letter that goes out to the community that explains the rate increase?
Yeah, good question. So I'll go through this real quickly. Whichever supplier we get, they do formulate the opt-out letter. I'm going to go ahead and get that letter ahead of time for you guys prepared. Send it to Michelle. The whole group can take a look at it. If you have any feedback, feel free to give us a call or just send the changes back to us. We'll tell you as long as they're not something in violation of PUCO rules, I'm going to probably say, yeah, we'll get it done. And we'll make the changes. And then those folks, probably end of October, November, and beginning of November, you'll get the opt-out letters in the mail, start receiving those. As you guys have had, this program has been in place for quite some time now, so I think a lot of people know the routine, but you'll have 21 days to review the letters, and once when you get it, take a look at it. If it makes sense to you, great. I think for a lot of people, the rate here is quite good, and then you'll end up seeing the switch, in that December timeframe going into January. All right, and it should be seamless, so there's not going to be a gap in service between the two suppliers.
So basically, we're not going to go from 0.477 to
11. Yeah.
And then back. We're going to go from 477 to 6.
Yep. And that ties back into my my change on the meter read, designation.
Any other questions?
I don't have any additional questions.
So what we do need the board to select a supplier.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, so the resolution in front of you is that I myself, Township Administrator, would be authorized to work with Travell to negotiate the service agreement. As we didn't have the agreements ready today because we didn't have a supplier choice, so the agreement needs to be reviewed by both legal counsels. And assuming we can turn that over fairly quickly, we would lock in that rate. So it could vary a little bit within the next few days, just because that's the nature of this industry. But luckily, Scott, tell me if I'm wrong, we're in a little bit of a steady market right now. So, I think, again, we'll try to turn this around as soon as possible. But again, today, select your supplier, and then I will work on the agreement as soon as possible.
If you don't mind me interjecting real quickly, today the market was slightly down. I mean, the forward market was 4.5 cents down. The prompt month for October in gas is down 11 cents right now. So as I wrote your counsel today, I'm kind of like, let's move it along.
Yeah.
The rate might be, if I come here, if the rates don't move, all else being equal, it will be slightly lower than what I've got on your matrix. Okay. So in one of those rare times, Murphy's Law didn't work out. It didn't go up, which it always seems to do, but we're in a good spot.
So, and which is the lowest one, did you say?
Lowest is Dynegy. And you said right.
But that they've developed some processes to help with some of the
Industry
excess customer mailings, we could say.
Yeah. There's things that weren't getting sent out, other things way outside, and discussed it with them. They said they've changed their process. I'll believe it when I see it. The reality is Orange is a big township, and it also has the difficulty that you have Delaware and then the surrounding areas butting up against it. City, I think, is the city of Columbus bouncing up against it as well. It's probably not a big deal to me anymore because of the things that we've developed in-house to help with that process. But I just want you to know, I mean, if that gets messed up at all right now, I'm going to be unhappy.
So like I'm looking at like Energy Harbor right now is offering at 0.0588 for 15 months with no early termination fee. So why
Do we have, is the fact that we're looking at 18 months, does that make a difference?
Well, it makes a huge difference that starts in like in the next billing cycle, okay? And versus ours starts out in December. Just think of things as on a calendar and think of it as seasons. We're capturing different loads than them. We're starting in the middle of winter when we're having a huge load for heating, right? Versus capturing the fall where the loads are less and cheaper, less expensive to serve. But when you average those weighted average all of those rates, you end up getting a potentially smaller rate. This is why we spend a lot of time trying to make sure we start and end programs at the right time, and we understand some of the capacity pieces that go into it. So just to let you guys,
most people use a lot less electricity in the winter.
they use more.
In the winter?
They have electric heat.
In the summer?
They don't have gas
What
heat.
percentage of people have it?
I'll tell you something. I have solar on my home, so I don't ever get a bill. But the only time I get a bill is usually January, February. Even
For
though
for electric?
I have propane heating, but I still use a ton of electric in the winter. It's the only time I get a bill for like $100.
You have to power the motor for the furnace and that kind of stuff.
What's
Yeah.
running? Your
Yeah.
heater is running. Think about your furnace. I know it's not a big draw, but it does. I actually can watch from my Tesla piece and watch it draw when it kicks on. All right,
No,
and you can see it hit.
My air conditioning bill, because the air conditioning, I don't know if you looked at yours, but it is literally $300 or $400 a month during the summer months when the air conditioning's on, and then it drops. I mean, I pay an average of probably $200 or $300, but then it really drops down to like $100 or
$150 during fall and spring.
Yeah, it is literally because of the air conditioning. That's what takes up so much. So, I mean, I personally would go with this 15-month deal. I might call them when I get home.
But I think then we can't.
It's just I find
We're
that
trying
this,
to do the.
and it's 47. I know it's just hard because
We're completely. I just want you to know,
It's still
and for the
lower
audience,
for
you're
now,
comparing
but-
completely apples to oranges. And we're looking. In case you're curious, I mean, we're looking at 3 different suppliers, and this is what the
And
numbers
each
come
family
out.
can choose to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
we got a lot of comments about that last time when people stayed on it and then they realized that the market had gone lower and then they were upset because they didn't realize it.
Sal, do we get a lot of people that call in for this,
Well, it's good. It's good now because it's low. I mean, no one's upset now. But do you remember when it really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It
I don't know
really
if anyone's
dropped a
called
few
us
years
about the rate itself. It's more just understanding the communication and why did I get this letter?
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
the messaging behind it is what we get calls about. So
So if you can, like you talked about, you're going to let us kind of proofread your letter before it goes out. So hopefully we can.
and those have improved over the years because I think in earlier years it looked like it was coming more from Orange Township and we really changed that with Trevelle, which has been helpful on our end. So
Yeah, we get the logo on there. We
Yeah.
can change some wording around if you need be. And there's a ton of things we're willing to help you guys achieve, meaning just getting those letters out ahead of time. It's been a policy change probably a couple of years ago because throughout the year, remember, we're sending refresh letters every quarter. All right? So every quarter, another letter goes out, but it's only going to those, here again, using the eligible customer list, and you sift through it to just get to the new meters. You don't have to keep opting out. It's just the new meter people that are moving in or out of moving in, starting new service in the community. So that will be happening, but we can get stuff like that on your website now for quick reference. And we have a thing called an energy bulletin that we've designed. It talks about both programs, summarizes them. That can be also posted on your website for people to get information.
Yeah, but no amount of communication is going to change the fact that
You can never reach enough people,
Right.
and they throw stuff in the garbage.
Communication, their bills will be going by 33%. So hoping for something.
So what I would just need is an approval of the electric resolution today, and then Michelle and I will work through the details.
We just have to pick which company it's supplier.
So my thoughts, and I think the legal standard that we're looking to apply is lowest and best. So Dynegy is the lowest rate. I know we've talked about some of the issues that they've had with identifying potential customers, but I'm not quite sure that the relationship with Archer Energy, or the fact that we currently use Energy Harbor outweighs that potential benefit of the lower cost. I will say that I have, I think, the most reservation with Energy Harbor due to a lot of changes that are going on in their business at the moment, and entering into a contract with them for 18 months.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of
And
changes
this
there
is more-
at both companies right now, a lot. So,
And our
But whoever
proposal
take-
would be more 17 months, correct? Just because
what's that?
Ours proposal is more 17 months if you timing, right? Is that going to impact these
It's
rates?
kind of weird. You end up starting in December
Oh, okay.
and then going through the May. But
Okay.
But I definitely agree with you, Trustee Ringo. You're going to see a lot of stuff with Dynegy. I know already behind the scenes, there's a lot of, discussions about who's staying in the company, who's leaving. It's like any other merger. There's going to be a little disruptive over the next year.
So which is the one with the little symbol?
That's Energy Harbor.
That's Energy Harbor. Yep.
In Archer, so
And for clarity, I've done a little research after having pretty extensive discussions with your council. No, our RFP doesn't call for lowest and best. I mean, lowest, we ask for, your best pricing, and then we combine that with, can you meet all the other requirements that we're asking for? And then obviously I'm giving you some real world input as to what I'm seeing. There isn't, and in fact, I had some other discussions with suppliers about what they're seeing from other broker consultants like us. These RFPs don't typically ask for the lowest price. Again, you're not buying a truck. It's a service, really. And so it's the combined, picture that we're trying to achieve here to look at.
but the Dynegy, their green renewable energy is a little bit higher, right?
In Energy Harbor.
Yeah. Which is the same, yeah.
So I'm hearing some concern if we were to choose Dynegy from you. Am I incorrect in that
Yes.
statement?
Yeah.
You
I mean,
are-
those are
there's
real
some
world
concern.
things that are happening. And yeah, I'm a little, until I see otherwise and I get resolution to some of my problems, I have to operate under the assumption that it's still getting messy.
So
Right.
You're concerned that things could be rocky if we chose Dynegy from a
Particularly with all the turnover, right? When you're starting to change processes and things. This is a huge merger in the state of Ohio. So it's a big deal.
No, I'm sorry, Trustee Ringo, which one are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards Dynegy just because it's the lowest cost. But we have the concerns that have been mentioned about potential mergers and turnover with that. That being said, all of the rates, as I think we've discussed, are very close. So we're talking about
So
differences in 1,000th of a
Can you
cent.
give us, say, on a typical residential bill, what
Yeah.
that dollar value difference
Yeah.
could be?
What I mentioned it earlier, on 1,000 kilowatt hours, the difference,
Is that typical for a house?
maybe a little more, 1,200, 1,500. But to do easy math
Right.
on every,
Kilowatt.
if you do that for every 1,000 kilowatts, it's a 20 cents on your bill per month.
20 cents.
20 cents difference.
Then I'm comfortable with Archer if that's the dollar value between these three that we're talking about.
What is the Archer amount again?
The 0.6558.
Regardless, I'm going to help you guys get through this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to sit here and as your consultant and work with whatever supplier you choose. So
So we're all leaning towards Archer? Are we? Wait.
I'm leaning towards
I don't have a strong preference.
right. Yes.
The cost difference is negligible.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I'm okay with Archer. then.
And Archer is currently our gas aggregation.
they are your gas
company,
aggregator.
So if you
It's
were to
familiar.
use both, it would be
But it's 20, wait, is it for how many months?
8.
18th.
So December through May of 25. It's about 18 months.
Yeah, so we would also make a condition to this resolution, having the language December 2023 meter reads and running through May 2025 meter reads, but no later than May 31st. And I'll give you the resolution.
Great.
Okay, so Archer.
All right. Anything else?
No, thank you for everybody and your help getting through this. And Michelle, my hope is to get some things updated tomorrow, get the contract updated. Hopefully, your council looks at it and gives it its stamp of approval. Again, I think in the last time we did the natural gas approval, so it should, I mean, you've already done business with them, so I'm hoping it's pretty painless.
So the one you sent me, the example you sent me earlier today, is that safe enough to kick to our legal now that we chose a supplier, or are you going to send me an updated one?
No, I think, well, for your purposes, I'll fill in the blanks then.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if there's a dramatic decrease for some reason? Can we renegotiate?
It's like any agreement, once you're obligated, but going back, but going back to your point, if you have to take your position in time, and that's what you're doing today through the contract. But as you've said, no early termination. Anybody, if the market were to fall out, which it's not going to, I can just tell you the horizon is predicting fairly flat to slightly increasing rates over the next few years. So if that were to hold true, all else being equal, what do I always complain about? Weather and war can trip you up pretty quickly. All else being equal, things are supposed to go up a little bit. That's the prediction. Why is that? Partly just so you guys, for your own good, we're all moving more towards clean energy. The legislation is moving towards clean energy. Some of that could change with the election next year, but till then, I have to operate under this focus. Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep, you bet. Take
So
care.
we
Thank
have
you.
to decide gas.
So we didn't have to decide gas. Gas is just extended.
No, there's two resolutions, one for gas and one for electric. Yeah, so gas is to amend it to the fixed rate starting in May of next year, and then the electric is selecting Archer.
But who's the gas with?
Also
Archer.
And
and that's who it has.
where's the
been.
paper? Are they the only ones that bid?
We're just amending the existing gas operation
The
contract.
current gas contract, my understanding, doesn't expire until May of next year. We're just locking in the rate and extending it.
So you could just read
The current rate.
This is the resolution as an read it.
Okay.
What is the rate for the gas?
We'd be locking in the 0.619 per CCF, if I understand that correctly.
And is that what do we
And
have
it doesn't
now?
start, and that was, I shared you Chris Betts's response. We had it in the resolution starting November, but it doesn't start tonight.
I'm not sure what her.
As a side comment, the gas is a definitive price, and the electric will settle in tomorrow. Okay.
But with the gas, so were there any other bids on the gas?
I think her question is, what are we paying right now for gas?
Well, were there? Did we bid?
No,
on-
because it's just amending, it's just amending the existing contract to go to a fixed rate. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, we're going to
Versus that.
maintain a fixed rate, and we're extending from that May to May time period, May of 24 to 25.
Because we were variable on the gas, right?
It used to be, and I think we triggered it into a fixed rate, and I'm apologetic, I don't recall what it was. It was probably around 50.
It's a variable
So
right
it was a
now.
50 some
That's
cent.
variable.
I was thinking
Yeah,
variable.
It's
So this
variable
is-
now.
So we're locking it in, so we shouldn't get a rate hike in the winter.
I think it's variable now. It's like
It is variable now, yeah.
right, and so
Yeah.
but we didn't get bids on that like with the electric.
No, because
Contract's not up.
the contract's not up, yeah.
Or is it this just goes through to the end of May of
Yeah.
25?
At the end of May of 25, we would go out to bid again and
When
roll the
is
whole
our
thing.
current contract?
Our current contract with gas expires May of 24, so it is extending it, so
It was extended for 24 months, but we couldn't get
12 months, yeah. So it's extending it, it's amending it to a fixed rate and extending it for an additional year to expire May of 25.
Okay, but wouldn't we be going out for more bids next year and have multiple providers? give us-
I'm not allowed to do that
Huh?
with our consulting agreement.
Well, actually, you can through Traybell, but hopefully that's the case.
Because the contracts are staggered at this point in time, we cannot shop around for different providers. So
I mean, but he can't. I mean,
He can,
I meant
yes.
suppliers.
Oh, suppliers,
Yeah,
yes.
like, yeah. I mean, wouldn't I
Yeah.
would think so. Currently, there's no way to just have this go through May and then renegotiate for one of the year after that. I mean, we're locking it in for an extra 12 months.
yeah, I mean, so your question is, do we need to lock this in now or just wait till it gets closer to
The question's
expiration?
about the extension, I believe, not whether or not to lock in the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's so. Look, I mean,
because then you would get other suppliers potentially to come in and maybe get a better rate. So we can't go away from Archer now because we're locked in through
May of 24.
So they're offering us, I mean.
So could we go? Yes. I'm sorry. To Ms. Knapp's point. So could we, if we didn't decide to move forward with gas now, could we wait till closer to expiration and look at different suppliers and then have another 12 and then have a 12-month contract to expire in May of 25?
we could. I mean, we can take it out the bid again now. I just thought we were.
Yeah,
Keeping it
I think,
simple
Yeah,
and-
I think the board's direction was to look at a fixed rate, so that's
Yeah.
why it's.
Oh, yeah, I want a
today.
fixed rate, but I didn't know that we were doing the extension. So I thought that was just going to be through
Yeah,
May.
no,
And then we were
I don't
gonna
think
get
the
bids.
fixed rate could not start until this contract ends, right? Until May of 24.
Yeah, so the hard part is in this market, we're running on fewer and fewer suppliers to do gas because, for example, Diamond G doesn't do gas, and we've never seen a program done from Energy Harbor either. I mean, I know that they do gas at Energy Harbor, and I've priced it out once or twice behind the scenes, and it's not very good. And so, we're just on limited supply of suppliers, and I think Archer does a good job in the Columbia market. The previous group isn't, and I hate to bring this up as a sore subject, but the other group that was exceptionally good at Columbia was Volunteer Energy, and they screwed up and went out of business. So now we're down to even fewer options other than just using Archer. So, and I do want to make sure that this is super clear in this. No one likes to talk about the pink giant elephant in the room, but at the end of the day, our contract is not designed to trip you up. It's not designed to lock you in. Different, and I've used this tool many times, even in Orange Township before. Different commodities may require different terms. You don't make them typically coterminous because it doesn't. For gas might be a different reason, or for electric because they're built on different sets of parameters. They may not be together, and so that's just how we run our programs. I want to make sure that at the end of the day, I'm making recommendations that are the right thing for the citizens. I'm not worried about when they start or stop. Okay, and if there's something that we can, in the future, we can wordsmith, we can talk about how to, change that piece of it. I'm happy to look at it and work through it with you. But I just want you to know that's the real purpose. Each commodity is a different market, so we need to make sure we're not going. Final thought about that PUCO, by the way, you can go longer, but they allow no less than 12 months and no more than 24 months on a natural gas before you have to send out opt-out letters, versus electric, which is 12 and 36. So there's also this mismatch there with their stuff. So we're just trying to do the right thing for the citizens.
Yeah, so right now we're locked. So everyone, what is the deal now? It's whatever the market or the FCO rate, right? The Columbia gas rate minus 2% or something. Is that the current deal? What's our current aggregation?
At the
With
variable
Archer.
rate?
Huh?
At the variable rate?
I'm just going to say it's like NYMEX plus 165 or something, or 160 or something like that on the old contract. I
thought it was, so if the Columbia Gas's rate right now is 0.435, I thought that we got like a 2% discount or something. Does that sound right?
it was 2% off of the utilities default rate. Remember, we were allowing that to be a discount, albeit it's small. It is a small discount off of the utilities rate, so we could trigger into a fix.
But there's no way nothing in the contract where we could lock in a better rate from now until May.
We could lock in potentially to a much worse rate.
Well, so we can't lock in this rate today.
Oh, we're going to, yes.
Right.
But I thought it wasn't be effective until May of 24.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we can't make it effective before May of 24.
Yeah.
I thought there was something in there that said we could, if something came available that was a better rate, that you could come back to us and negotiate.
Yeah, what there is. So, I looked in my files and I do have the trigger. Remember I talked about a trigger into a fixed rate? I thought we already triggered this.
Not unless you did it without us.
I mean,
Did it give you the authorization?
regardless.
No, we wouldn't have to decide. I think we're just doing now I think I might be on a different plan, but I think the rates were outrageous and you recommended that we just go with the standard amount minus 2%. And then
Because it's at the highest it's been, I figured it would come down. I wanted you to ride the rate down, not lock in it.
Yeah, that made sense at the time. But then I thought there was a provision in that contract that said that when it came down, we could lock into a fixed rate. So why can't we lock into a better fixed rate now and then have it effective through the end of the contract and then renegotiate then?
We may be able to do that. Let me check my notes on it.
Okay, so we can
Yeah,
hold off on
that
gas
one.
and move forward with electric.
Yeah, because we were going to try to lock it in. I don't.
Because
We
the
would've
electric
had-
is what is time
Yeah,
sensitive,
the electric is-
right?
Very time sensitive.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's do the electric,
All right.
and then we'll figure out the gas.
Okay,
All
so
right.
That's that.
Yes.
I'll send out an email like tomorrow about the gas program.
Yeah, 450.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to approve resolution 23-245, awarding a master services agreement to Archer Energy to supply electricity for the township's electric aggregation program.
Second?
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Fax?
Yes.
All right. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. Okay, do we have any agenda changes?
Yes. So under the consent agenda, I see only one bolded in red, but there's two agenda changes from the agenda publishing, which is a street sweeping purchase of $7,285, and then Reinhardt Insurance for cybersecurity at $12,629. It's under the consent. And then as far as operations, I have an REA for Orange and Holderman. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-246, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the regular trustee meeting on September 6th, 2023, and resolution 23-247, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second?
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Fax?
Yes. Okay, our zonings report. Mr. Koenig.
Filling in for Robin today. Our zoning report. So we had a zoning commission meeting on September 12th. It was continued to Tuesday, October 1st. So we addressed some comments from the board and from other organizations. Again, that was zoned at 2955 East Orange Road for for board zoning appeals. We have two cases this coming month. We will be at Thursday. First one is at the Rivers Edge Drive. It is for a patio to the first setback. Second case before that meeting is at Green Meadows Drive West, for an accessory structure to the person's rear yard and side setback. Then we have our table for the zoning appeals application, and that's for the township on the
With the Orange Cove application, were there any divergences or variances?
There were 4 divergences. Trying to think of them off the top of my head. Some of them were for, one of them was for more than 3, or for 3 homes to be on 1 acre. And that's because they're utilizing some cluster homes on,
You can bring that one up again.
They're clustering because they're leaving the existing topography and trees and streams.
That's correct, yeah. So their explanation for utilizing the cluster homes is so they can preserve some more green space near the middle of the property. Yeah, so that, I believe that is a bit of an old site plan. It's slightly different, but on that road on the right there, there are about 7 homes on the right of there that are smaller lot sizes, and there's some divergences there. And then some of those homes are included in that 3 homes on the 1 acre.
So all the divergences requests are beneficial to the township.
Preserving the open space.
Yeah, that's the general intent of the
And
developer.
then they also, so our code, I think, calls for 25% lot coverage maximum for the home.
Yep.
On your lot, and they were asking for 32%.
That's correct.
Specific, I think, to those 7 or so homes that were clustered, that are in the front of the development.
That's correct.
He did provide 30% open space. Our code requests 20. So I think he could space it out and have 0 divergences, but then we would lose and keep within our code as far as the 20% open space. But then I think he would that. So.
Yep.
He was my understanding, because I listened to it. There was lots of community feedback, so that was great to see the community involved. So we definitely appreciate everybody letting us know what their thoughts and concerns are. So my understanding from listening to that is he was going to kind of go back to the drawing board and tweak stuff. So I'm expecting to see a different site plan, or slightly different in some way.
Was he going to try to preserve any more trees on the west? Is that west or north? That's north, where the existing homes are.
On the left side.
There is a tree preservation zone on that side of the property for the development.
25 foot.
Just 25.
And I walked it today when I ran with my dog over there. I mean, I understand the residents' concerns, because it's absolutely gorgeous back there. So
Yeah.
it'll be a big change.
All the trees are going away in the township.
Any other zoning questions? Okay. Operations. Hours.
Thank you, trustees. 2 things today on the operations report. First thing would be the Green Meadows Shared Pathway resolution. This was an assist from the county engineers to help us get this out to bid, and seeking a recommendation and approval from the board to proceed with awarding the contract to Strasser Paving and issuing the purchase order. And the second thing is a agenda change that Ms. Bonnie mentioned for an REA relative to an intersection study at Holderman and East Powell Road. And I apologize, I missed the third thing here. The third thing would be the annual OPWC application, which the county engineers handle for us as well. The recommended resolution would be to proceed with that and authorize Michelle to submit the OPWC application via Doug Riedel in the county engineer's office to proceed with the Bale Canyon Phase 2 funding.
And so that helps, the OPWC grant helps us spend less taxpayer dollars to do that portion of the road if we were to be successful.
Correct.
And the REA, we had a resident reach out to us, I think it was Monday, about concerns about traffic on Orange, and asking for, to see if the engineer's office could do a study to see if they needed a light at Holden Street. So that was about, so thank you for getting that on the agenda so quickly, we appreciate that. And then did the Green Meadows come in under budget?
It did. And we have a couple grants connected to that as well, so it will definitely reduce the amount of park levy funding that needs to go in to cover the bill.
Any other operations questions? And make a motion to approve resolution 23-248, authorizing the Director of Operations execution of the Delaware County Engineers Green Meadows Drive Shared Use Path Construction Agreement with Strasser Paving Company and authorize the issuance of a purchase order.
Second?
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Betts?
Yes. And make a motion to approve resolution 23-249, a resolution authorizing Michelle Bonney, Orange Township Administrator, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission state capital improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs, and to execute Vail Canyon Road Phase 2 DEL-TR 107-0.05.
Second.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Betts?
Yes. I make a motion to approve resolution 23-250, authorizing Township Administrator execution of a request for engineering assistance with the Delaware County Engineers Office regarding East Orange Road and Holderman Street.
Second?
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Betts?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. We do not have a fire report today. Fiscal.
Okay. TIP fund. This is the last of the Creekside TIP stuff. We just approved the fund, we approved moving the money, but we have, or the certificate of resources for moving the money or taking the money in, but we did not appropriate the money yet. So this is the last and final step. We're moving it from contingencies to transfer out. As a reminder, to transfer them into the Creekside TIP at $27,000. Next, the August bank reconciliation. Did things a little bit differently, just to kind of show, our ending cash balance is $31,444,896.89, and that's broken between as of August 31st, it was broken between First Commonwealth, Fifth Third, and Star Ohio Investments. So you can see how that breakout of that $31 million is. So there was some confusion on stated cash balance and then also an investment balance, so they were two separate amounts, so they are not total cash balance broken across. The reason we do that is trying to maximize the interest rate. Star Ohio is a daily market-based interest rate, and right now it's paying 5.4%. So trying to keep as much of our operating or liquid cash in that account, benefits the township. So that's just a little bit of our strategy there. Across the funds, general funds at $9.3 million, fires at $9.1, parks is at $4.2, road is at $3.2, and all our other funds combined are at $5.2. Then expenses through August 31st, $12.9 million. And revenue is now greater than expenses because we got our second half property tax distribution at the end of August. So you'll see revenue will hold pretty flat from here to the end of the year. Actually, for March of next year, we will get the first half of 2023 paid in. So expenses 4.9, revenue at 17. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. I had asked Fiscal Officer Kraft to give us a little bit more detail on how our finances work. So thank you very much for the graphs and explaining that. I appreciate it.
Very handy.
Never go wrong with the
I love the pie charts. My favorite. My favorite.
Right? It's almost as good as a spreadsheet.
No, much better.
Okay, and no fiscal questions? All right, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-251, revising and/or increasing permanent appropriations established in resolution 22-384.
Second?
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Betts?
Yes.
Who seconded that?
Ms. Knapp.
Ms. Knapp is Okay, Ms. Bonnie, our administration report.
Yes, it is a simple one today. Just announcing our September birthdays and anniversaries. And here I go with names. So firefighter Tyler Alba, September 13th birthday. Our events communications coordinator Sydney Herbert, September 14th. Firefighter Willie Harris, September 18th. Firefighter Nathan Buskirk, September 20th. Zoning Inspector Andrew Koenig, September 21st, so tomorrow. Happy birthday. Firefighter Marcus Mustard, September 21st. Firefighter Donald Zavarski, September 21st.
Happy birthday to everybody.
Yeah, really. The Director of Operations, Silas Bowers, September 29th. Happy birthday next week. Firefighter Lieutenant Mike Clark, September 30th. And Firefighter Bradley Belleville, September 18th. And anniversaries. I have been having technical issues. Okay, well, I'll just read them. Firefighter Kyle Clark, 1 year on September 22nd. Firefighter Hadley Gaber, 1 year on September 7th. Public Works Hunter Gray, 1 year on September 22nd. Firefighter Daniel Helmers, 1 year on September 22nd. And then Events Communications Coordinator Sydney Herbert, 1 year on September 7th. Firefighter Dalton Warner, 2 years on September 22nd. Firefighter Marcus Muster, 7 years on September 19th. Firefighter Shay Schutte, 9 years on September 3rd. And Firefighter Brian Popes, 22 years on September 1st. So lots of September celebration. That's it.
Thank you, everybody, for all your service and happy birthday.
Yes.
Something else.
I do have something else. I didn't look at the so we do have an accepting a donation item. The company, where is that? I don't have a resolution. Okay, so I will, just a heads up, we were kindly donated signs for our founders.
Liberty signs.
Yes, Liberty signs from our Founders Festival, and so I'll formally accept that that donation at the next meeting.
They gave us 20 signs to help publicize our Founders Fest. So we thank them for that. Well,
Yes.
thank them again. Okay, any new business?
No.
All right, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-252, meeting adjourned.
Second?
Mr. Riggle?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yeah.